Welcome back to the show. I'm Damon Love. Make sure y'all hit that like, subscribe. I need 1,000 subscribers. Help me out. Drop it like it's hot. I'm exposing this story right here about AOC in her district and how her crime rate went up 70%. So it's crazy over there in New York, and we just got to get to the bottom of it.
Bronx and Queens district, represented by New York Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, has seen a 70% crime surge since she took office. That according to NYPD data. That is more than double the New York City average. Here's how AOC previously addressed the rising crime.
We are seeing these headlines about percentage increases. Now, I want to say that any amount of harm is unacceptable and too much. But I also want to make sure that this hysteria, that this doesn't drive a hysteria and that we look at these numbers in context so that we can make responsible decisions.
New York City Council candidate Ramses Frias and Elmhurst resident Guadalupe Alvarez joins us now. So I'm going to start with you, Ramses. You know that I've been down to that district. I've interviewed women who have said, I'm afraid to walk on the street after 5, 6 o'clock at night. I've seen tricks turned at 11 a.m. She says, by the way, prostitute tricks, in case people don't know what I'm talking about, 11 a.m. inside your district. What do you say to her response that this is just hysteria?
It's not hysteria. It's a reality. The numbers are showing what exactly is happening. We have crime happening every single day here, from violent crime, prostitution, illegal street vending, you name it, and it's happening here. This has become a safe haven for criminal activity. Once they opened the borders up, everything got worse, and it continues to gradually increase, in numbers. We have problems here that she is not facing, and she is not trying to face. She just keeps on, giving this rhetoric about, oh, you don't cause hysteria, but the reality is here. People are scared. People are afraid to even go to the supermarket just because of all the criminal activity that we see in the streets.
I'm about to show y'all that straight from the streets of Jackson Heights. But yeah, AOC, she's been in there since 2019. Crime is up 70%. She's on this big old tour with Bernie Sanders talking about fight the oligarchy. You got all these Democrats rooting for her, talking about maybe she could be president someday. I just want the Democrats to really see what y'all voting for. Everybody's standing in the way of ICE, trying to protect these migrants from getting deported and this, that, and the other. And they don't realize what's really going on in these cities. When they think of people getting deported, they think of these these little families and little kids getting deported, but that's not really the case. And I'm finna show it to you right here.
Guadalupe, when you're talking with your friends and you guys are expressing these concerns about the state of your district and what's happening in the streets and the crime that we were just hearing about, and then you see your congresswoman jetting all over the country, sometimes in a private jet, raging against the oligarchy, whatever that is, with Bernie Sanders, how do you and your friends respond to that? How is that received in the district?
Well, to us, that's hysteria. Her last campaign ad on Instagram spoke about being a cynic and not giving in to the cynicism when she is, in fact, the cynic. We're just so tired. I can't speak for myself, but, the community voted her in and she has done nothing for the community. If you see what she's done since she's been Congresswoman, it's been nothing. She has not even shown to her areas of representation. And it's unfortunate that we have to suffer with the consequences. Like Ramsey said, it's constant fear amongst one another. We won't have friends visit us because we don't want to be responsible for anything that might happen to them in the neighborhood.
Ain't that a crazy way to live? I mean, your neighborhood's so bad you can't have company. You can't even have people come over your house. I mean, what kind of way is that to live? But this ain't the worst part.
Ramses, is this the tipping point? Is this the moment where the people in this district, despite the fact that it is a heavily Democrat district, finally say enough is enough? We're going to vote out AOC, we're going to vote out Democrats, and we're going to put a Republican in Congress from this district. Is that time now?
New Yorkers have woken up, and we just need to continue this trend of waking up on our end public safety is a number one issue in this area, and it needs to be addressed. We need leaders in office that are willing to get their hands dirty, boots on the ground. I'm out there every single day. I live this. This is what I'm about. And I'm about to clean this whole thing up. We need all the residents, everybody in the community to understand that the Democrats have allowed this to happen for so many years, and it gradually continues to get worse. I'm here for the people. I am the people, and I'm going to continue to do what I have to do to make sure and ensure the future residents of this area are safe.
This is a video that I found from a creator called Nate Freeman Show. He was actually on the streets of New York not very long ago. I seen this about 2 days ago. And check this out.
This is Jackson Heights, deep inside AOC's district. These are illegal immigrants selling food on the street, and that's a group of prostitutes. And there's about 10 police cars surrounding just this one block. AOC is a national celebrity, once a bartender and now a congresswoman with 4 million followers. She just
Now, why would the police be surrounding that block?
toured the country promoting her agenda, but what's really happening back home? So I came here to see how voters truly feel. Welcome back to the Nate Friedman Show. Tell me about this neighborhood. You live here?
Before, like 8 years ago, yes, I live in that area.
Yeah.
It's good now. It's like too much people bad.
Bad people?
Yeah,
Well, what are they doing out here? Why did it get so bad?
because a lot of gangers.
Gang violence?
Yeah,
When did that start happening?
maybe like 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years ago.
Yeah,
That's when illegal immigrants started coming in, right?
yeah.
2 years ago, the whole city done changed in 2 years. Now there's a bunch of gangs out there, whole bunch of riffraff, and the streets ain't safe in New York.
Okay.
Special to Venezuelan.
Okay, so the Venezuelan migrants are committing crimes here.
Yeah, really, it's true.
Okay. It's difficult to even contemplate, but in 2023, there were 2.4 million encounters at the southern border. The system was
2.4 million just in 2023 alone. So if you figure you got 2023, 2024, that's 5 million people, right? Y'all remember what that guy said about those street vendors?
You selling water out here?
No, we got weed, we got water, we got grabba, papers, everything you need, vapes, everything.
Yeah, totally.
Yes, sir, yes,
So
sir.
I'm seeing a lot of vendors out here. What kind of started that?
I think, to be honest with you, of course it's ambition from somebody's self, and as well as the stores and everything, the way it's going, smoke shops are getting closed down, stores getting closed down for weed, these shits, fucking vapes, everything, man.
This is actually a pretty nuanced problem, and AOC's district is particularly affected by it. Unlike the prostitution in her district, which she's been silent on, she has spoken up about the explosion of illegal street vendors, but only to defend them. Her actual quote was, "Don't tell people to get licenses when they haven't been given for 10 years. It is..."
Ain't that crazy? They don't want to get nobody no license, but they would much rather have them on the streets. If they on the streets doing that, what else are they doing?
The answer is to let them grow, not kick them out. That might crack the top 10 for dumbest things a sitting member of Congress has ever said. Imagine running a legal business and then hearing that from your own representative. Now, weed became legal in New York in 2021, but the city made it incredibly difficult and expensive to open a legal dispensary. At the same time, they let illegal shops run wild. Thousands popped up overnight, and then a couple years later, the city finally decided to enforce the law, and more than 700 illegal cannabis shops have now been shut down. So, what is the long-term solution? Well, the city doesn't have to reinvent the wheel here. Just treat weed like they have with alcohol and tobacco. Right now, a weed license costs 5 times more than a liquor license. Why? I would lower the license fee from $7,000 to something like $2,000, and if people still can't afford it, so be it. Opening a weed shop isn't some human right, it's a business.
And at the end of the day, businesses need license. So why aren't you licensing these people? Seem like to me, it don't make no sense. You would think if you you would license these businesses, they could get into places and they could pay taxes, they could create jobs. But if you don't license them, you're not creating no jobs and you're not collecting no taxes and there ain't no regulations on it. So whatever you getting out on the street, ain't no telling, right? There ain't no control, no quality control, nothing. I mean, and they wonder why we got all these people, passing away because of their addictions. You know what I mean? We got these people, just dropping in the streets. Basically, look at San Francisco. I mean, it's all around the globe. But, everybody keep talking about AOC is all this and all that. Well, we're going to take a look. We're going to find out. Y'all seen what happened in the neighborhood.
Mr. Speaker, you may wonder why so many of our friends across the aisle who care so deeply about the rule of law happen to be so desperate to pass this bill after they are unleashing people who attacked police officers here on this Capitol into roaming our streets, who are publicly saying now they want to get a gun. Suddenly, these folks care about public safety? I don't think so. Look no further than the price tag of this bill, $83 billion. They know that it can't be paid for. They know that the capacity is not there. And you know what will be there? Private prison companies.
And it's going to be Democrats' fault because Democrats is standing in the way of ICE, okay? Democrats are the ones that's having these migrants moving around from shelter to shelter to shelter. And they got all of these congressmen coming out to, Newark, New Jersey? Didn't they have 3 Congress people out there? And the mayor trying to break in the place, assaulting ICE officers. And all y'all doing is inflaming the situation. So all of these blue states are starting to get these pop-up prisons, okay? That's what they're talking about right here in Congress. They talking about making prisons in the blue states. So she's sitting here blocking them. Her district is looking like that. They finna get these pop-up prisons. And it's going to be whose fault? Not the Republicans. We're not getting the pop-up prisons. It's the Democratic states, the one that's hiding the migrants.
Are going to get flooded with money. Who give this money, no doubt. I want folks at home to look. Look at what members of Congress are invested in private prison companies who receive this kind of money, and look at the votes on this bill. It is atrocious that people are lining their pockets with private prison profits in the name of a horrific tragedy and the victim of a crime. It is shameful. It is absolutely shameful. And Mr. Speaker, I'll conclude with this. In a few months, there are members of Congress who voted for this bill who are going to pretend they didn't know about all the bad things that are going to happen because of it.
Now she's talking about the Lanken Riley Act. It's going to end up promoting prisons, okay? All across these blue states. They already popped one up in Newark, New Jersey. Now she talking about it's an outrageous act that they making this prison bill because of one American citizen that got killed by a legal migrant who actually happened to get let go out of New York. But check out this.
So when a private prison camp opens in your town, when a dreamer...
Time has expired. I yield the gentlelady an additional 30 seconds.
So when a private prison camp opens in your town...
her state.
And they say, we didn't know this was going to happen. Know that they did, and they voted for it. When a dreamer is disappeared from your classroom, when the President of the United States destroys what is left of the Constitution as he's announced in this attack on birthright citizenship, they will all say, we didn't know this was coming. And I want the American people to know that they did. This vote represents it. And with that, I yield back. Thank you very much.
Watch this. Now, Democrats, y'all voting for this. Y'all got her in office, just like y'all got all these Democrat sanctuary cities.
I certainly hope we do open as many prisons as possible to round up as many illegal aliens that have invaded our country and those that are breaking our laws, killing our citizens, women and children, and causing complete havoc across our great land. I support the Lanken Riley Act, and I support the Lanken Riley Act because Lanken Riley should be alive today. And she would be alive today if it hadn't been for the Democrats and the Biden administration that ripped our border open and allowed this illegal alien monster to come into our country. And then in the state of New York, When this monster was arrested for committing crimes, the Democrat state of New York let him go. And that's how he came down to Georgia and murdered our Lanken Riley. This is a bill that cannot get passed enough, and I'm so thankful that the American people overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump so that we can sign this bill into law, and it can't happen fast enough. Thank God. But listening to my colleagues, the Democrats on the other side of the aisle, complain and whine and defend illegal aliens that break the law the minute they cross our border is pathetic. The American people are so sick and tired of it. They cannot believe what our country has gone through. And it is enough. It is absolutely enough. But they will go on and on to defend anyone that is not American because of their America Last policies. You talk about tax dollars used. Our tax dollars should be used defending Americans. And you want to talk about spending a lot of money? Spending a lot of money should happen for American causes, American purposes, and American security. Lanken Riley is a young woman who should be living her American dream, and she had the right to do it. But people that come across our border illegally are not Americans, and they do not have rights here. And that is exactly why anytime they break a law, anytime they cross into our country, they should be rounded up and shipped out as fast as possible. And if we need to build more prisons, then we'll do it.
This right here is a tough watch. This is what AOC really don't want nobody to know about, okay? But they are calling on the federal government to investigate AOC about this particular situation and many more.
They're asking for the federal government to come in here and shut these criminal operations down. These are cartels, these are organized mobs, and they must be stopped.
Finally, the infamous bodega brothel of Corona, Queens in New York City is shut down. Since September of 2024, a group of concerned residents and clergy have waged a campaign to take back their community after confronting a wave of lawlessness and criminality on Roosevelt Avenue, the new urban crime zone in New York City. This wave is fueled by a massive influx of street gangs, human traffickers, and cartels peddling sex, drugs, and engaging in street crimes. On the afternoon of May 12, 2025.
What do you say to that, Democrats? Like, what do you say to that? Like, why would y'all keep just blindly voting for these people? Everybody watching CNN, MSNBC, and they just sitting here, they not doing no homework. I found this one on Twitter. I'm going to put all the links to everything in the description below.
The notorious bodega brothel that operated 24 hours a day in front of two elementary schools, PS 19 and PS 307.
Two elementary schools, right smack across the street, okay?
Was shut down for good and padlocked by the property owner. Thanks to the NYPD and the new local 115th Precinct Commander David Cordano.
Thank you, David Cordano. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Who was present. We acknowledge his diligence and leadership. District Leader Hiram Montserrat and the Restore Roosevelt Avenue Coalition have been at the forefront of making their community safer. On the shutting down of the infamous bodega brothel, Hiram Montserrat added, with international organized crime syndicates at the helm, Roosevelt Avenue continues to be the base of their illicit operations. Now we hear from Hiram Montserrat as he tours the recently closed bodega brothel.
Inside the infamous bodega brothel on Roosevelt Avenue and 99th Street, across the street from two public schools, we see that this place is clearly unsightly, unsanitary, quite frankly, disgusting. And this is where it was all happening.
Take a look, Democrats. What do you see there? Do you see the reason that we want to get the migrants back to their countries?
The second room, the third room, this is the fourth room.
I mean, this is a hard video for me to make, y'all, and stay cool about it. This is insane. Our country that went so far left, I mean, we got people coming into our country as migrants. We got some people coming in as gang members. We got some people coming in, I mean, as slaves, look like. Every time you hear the stories about these migrants coming in our country, you hear that they owe somebody a debt back on the other side of the border. This is how they paying it back.
And this is the final room, the 5th room, and we thank the police department for moving them all out.
So yeah, so what do y'all think? You know, what do the audience think about this? You know, this is crazy. This is going on right in New York, right in AOC's district. And she want to sit here and try to grandstand on Congress. But everybody is hating Donald Trump so much that they so blinded by the fact that this is going on right under their nose.
Question is on the third reading of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Third reading. The question is on pass.
An act to require the Secretary of Homeland Security to take into custody aliens who have been charged in the United States with theft and for other purposes.
The question is on passage of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. The ayes have it. The bill is passed.